Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently preparing our second invasion of Brazil. This time we're going to go with a few more Marines, but the quantity of Marines, I think, ultimately wasn't the problem. I think the main problem was we attempted to attack out with the Marines, and what we should do, if we can establish a beachhead and get ourselves a small amount of territory here, that's great. But in reality, the bigger thing that we need to do is get infantry out here. And we only need a certain amount of those. I'm going to start up a plan for a naval invasion from infantry here. And they are going to be assigned to go from also here. Actually, let's have them go from back here. It'll be the same sea zone, but probably slightly better on the supplies. And they are going to come in to Natal. So we're going to get that going. How many are assigned to this? They should all be assigned to it. Currently 24 divisions. Yes, that looks good. So that's going to take a while to be prepared, and the question is, do we want to wait on that? Well, I think that's a valid question. Likely the answer to that is yes. We're still going to have a supply issue once we get there. I want to be very clear about that. Let's grab L-class trains. That'll be okay. We're going to have a supply issue when we get there. That's obvious. But I want to have units that are at least a little bit better at pushing out and defending against tanks. So that'll be a useful thing. We have this armored division here. And that should go in right here. Any other armored divisions? Nope, that is it. Okay. So that looks absolutely fine. So these guys are, unfortunately, 121 days away, right? So that is fine. They're apparently going to have problems with the Cap Verde plan. Oh, it's 50%. Okay. Noted. Ah, this is the path that they're going to take. That's the problem. Okay. This path is non-viable, unfortunately. So we're going to have to send them from here, which is very, very sad. I prefer that we weren't sending them from Granada, but we will have to. If we send them up here... Actually, that's not the issue. The issue is the destination point. You know what? Let's just position them at a naval base for right now. We'll position them in Western Andalusia. So I'm going to tell them, all of them, just to walk down here with no orders assigned. So how do we get them to have no orders assigned? Well, they are currently located here, and they have no orders. Perfect. I just want them to get to this naval base. Once they're at the naval base, we'll just move them in after our Marines establish a beachhead. I think that'll be the best way to go here. So we do have these 3 infantry divisions. They're going to go into our infantry division reserve, and that seems absolutely fine. Apparently one of these was unable to find a valid path to target. I wonder why that is. Lack of naval base, probably. But lack of naval base where? Out over here, perhaps? Maybe. Let's try a level 1 naval base out over here. And this should be connected up over here. So that seems reasonably fine. And we can see about like a level 1 naval base out over here too, but a lot of these are just going to be like unmanned, and that's okay. So we've got these Marines ready to go. They are going to head into this army, which is going to have to continue to prepare here. Okay, good to know. So they are going to need to prepare for another roughly 30 days, 31 days. That's fine. These guys are still being worked on, and these will have to be launched first. They've got a little bit further to go, so we'll want to launch these guys probably around the time we reach here or so, something like that. That'll be fine. Maintenance Company 2 finishes up the research, so Signal Company will grab, and we can also work immediately in these... No, stop it. We can work in these support companies on the PR-43 class. That's fine. That's an armored train. That is fine. Just checking what we have here. So we can invite some people to our faction. I'm not going to do that at this moment. I want to get this war under control first. That's the idea, anyway. So fingers crossed that that ends up working. It should. How long do we have before these Marines are ready to go? 86 days. Okay. As soon as we've established a beachhead, we need these guys to come in and try to take that over. And then they can be used to push out while the Marines are temporarily... Well, maybe we should go the other way around because of the soft attack. We use the Marines to push out and get ourselves a little bit of a buffer zone. and then use the infantry to hold that buffer zone, perhaps. We do have 2 levels of land fort here in Campina Grande, which is absolutely great. And we'll sort this armored division in here. We're going to need a new armored division soon, or rather a new armored division army. And we're probably going to need to start sorting armored divisions into this kind of slush fund, this reserve, soon enough. That's okay. We can definitely work with that. Okay, so this attack is ready to launch soon. Not quite yet, about 30 days. Looks good. We, of course, have all of our infantry, or rather all of our Marines, recruited. We're still working on armored divisions, and we're recruiting 8 of them simultaneously. We are going to cut that down eventually, but not yet. I'm waiting until we have ourselves another full army of them. So Field Hospital 2 has finished. That seems good. And from here, we can work on, of course, actually that was Field Hospital 1 that finished. We can get Field Hospital 2 underway now. So that looks absolutely excellent. Okay, so these Marines are going to arrive here soon. They are ready to launch their attack in 7 days. But I want both of these attacks to go off simultaneously. So we're going to wait for this. That's going to be about 20 additional days at this point, and that seems absolutely fine. We do have this Mountaineer template that can go here for now. Looks good. No problem whatsoever. And we've got quite a reserve built up, no doubt about that. A lot of this reserve is just being used to defend these areas. I believe one of these reserves is used down here, right? Yes, that would be this one. Okay, that's fine. We're probably going to start up a third one for South America. And do we have anybody up in Alaska? We do. Okay, just wanted to make sure about that. Wouldn't want to lose Alaska and our toehold in North America if a war, for some reason, with Canada or the US broke out. So that is definitely a concern, especially with the world tension at 90%. It's definitely a concern. So, yeah. We need to get out of this war, but world tension is likely to hit 100% from doing that. So we just need to consider that. It's very, very likely. At this point, we're 15 days away. So that is looking good. We're now 14 days away as of now. Cool. So that seems absolutely fine. We don't have sufficient naval supremacy down here to launch this attack at this moment. 50.1? Okay, I mean, technically that is enough right now. But it's kind of fluctuating. Okay. We can probably pull some forces out of here and down here, although I'm wondering, what do we have in our reserve right now? We've got 34 submarines and 3 heavy cruisers. You know what? Let's move them over to Task Force 2, which is part of what fleet? This one. Okay. So we'll move that in over here. These guys are going to get grouped together. And now those additional ships are going to make their way on down. So that should help our naval supremacy in this region. Of course, our ships suck, and we know that. That's absolutely fine. We will work on upgrading them later, I'm sure. Maybe. Emphasis on maybe. So this armored division, we need a new army for. This is not actually... This is going to join this army group, but it is not actually going to have a leader. We don't have the capability of even getting it a leader right now. So that is fine. We're going to continue to get these garrisons filled up. That seems fine. And we're ready to launch this in 4 days. 3 days now. Beautiful. So we'll see how that goes. We just need to establish ourselves a toehold here in Brazil. It was really, really tough fighting last time. They brought the tanks in pretty quickly and were able to push us back. We can launch this at this moment, and we are going to do exactly that. Although I'm not going to launch this one yet. No. Other way. Okay. We're going to launch this one. These guys stay put. These guys are going to head out. I mean, they're in a storm right now, but that's fine. We're going to sort that guy in there. Looks good. We're just waiting for these guys to get caught up a little bit. They're launching from a further point. So they just need to get caught up, and we'll launch these relatively simultaneously. Little bit further here. A little further. Okay. Go. Fantastic. So we should be basically simultaneous at this point. That looks good. So this infantry division is going to get sorted in here. This infantry division is prepared to move down here the moment we get a beachhead, and that will be good. We'll see how this ends up going. There's 2 levels of land fort here, so that will be somewhat helpful for us. We do have a research slot available, and let's grab Signal Company 2. Not like that's super helpful, but we're going to head on down and launch this attack. Let's see how this goes. We need to get a toehold in South America, and naval invasions are tough. There's no doubt about it. We'll see how this goes. These Marines are about establishing the beachhead. They're not necessarily about doing anything with the beachhead, right? So that is absolutely understood. We're going to bring them in here. It's going to take some time for the infantry to arrive afterwards. But we should very easily establish the beachheads, because we have insane attack levels on our Marine divisions. So that's no problem. We're heading right on in here. 3 days and less than a day. Okay, so these guys are going to get pushed out of here fairly soon, in theory. Some of our Marines are heading home because they've run out of organization. But there we go. Now I want to immediately bring these guys in to frontline here. So they are all on their way in. Okay, now I want to take these units. I want to make sure that all of these are assigned here. And I want to tell them to offensive line. I really want to take the same offensive line we did before. We can see how viable this is. These guys are attacking here, so that will change things a little bit. For sure. So let's get started on that. And we also immediately want to get started once again on building land forts here. We also want to get started immediately on naval base there. And everything else is kind of not really necessary at this moment. Okay. So we're going to move in and attack down here. We're estimating that this battle will last for 2 days. Our infantry are on their way. And we'll be arriving here relatively shortly. So we're being attacked up this way, which is expected. We've taken this victory point this time, and that is good. I want to select this army, including all of their Marines. I want to make sure that they are all assigned to be here, and I'm going to give them the same offensive line. Again, their goal is to establish a beachhead here. So they're just trying to push in and get us some space. That's the overall plan for the moment. And we're succeeding on this for now. We do see this tank template here. The tank template is spooky. There's no doubt about that. I want to get started constructing a second naval base right here immediately. So we're going to get going on that. I also want to build land forts in all of these locations. So there we go. We're going to do that. Land forts in every single one of these locations that exist here. Perfect. Okay, so we'll see how this ends up going. We should probably tell these guys to cease their attack at this point. I feel like we've gotten ourselves a sufficient toehold here that we can build in the background and hopefully not have our supplies be messed up too much. Now, supplies are going to be grim in this area. No doubt about that. Let's get anti-air building, but most important is those naval bases followed by the land forts. So something like this. We'll get that underway. I do not want these lads attacking under really any real circumstances here. Just sit. Stop this attack. Please stop the attack. We're winning this attack, but please stop it. Okay. There we go. We just want to hold this position until the infantry arrive at this point. Prussia embargoed us, which isn't shocking. The infantry are about halfway here at this point. So we really do need to build this up, right? We need to get these supplies online, and I want to hop into supply mode. We want to make sure that this is motorized, but we're going to have a hard time with supplies here, for sure. There's no supply connection here. We've got some days yet until these railroads are online. That said, we have 2 victory points and a naval base, so we have some amount of supply flow here. That is good. The infantry are not here yet, and when they do, they're going to make our supply situation somewhat worse. We may want to pull back the Marines once the infantry arrive. We'll see how that ends up going. We're holding this position for the time being, and there's not a huge amount of attacks going on. We have land forts built in a number of these locations at this time now, and this is looking really solid. Now, they are bringing in additional reinforcements, but we're just trying to solidify this position right now. Our infantry are arriving, and they're going to take over the defense here. At least part of the defense. Okay, so we've got this medium tank template, which is going to head over here. And we've got this armored division, which is going to hop in here. We also need a research slot. In fact, we need 2. Let's take mountain infantry 3, and let's grab anything else that we need over here. Well, for now, no is the answer. I guess we could work on 1934 light tank chassis. That's fine. It's not super necessary. Okay, so we're just digging in over here for now. We have infantry heading in here, which is good, because we're currently losing this attack, but we're going to bring reinforcements in there. So infantry are coming in. Of course, supplies in this area are low, but we're going to start building up these naval bases soon enough. Now, these are the only 2 naval bases that we can really afford to be building right now. Other locations that we can build naval bases in here can get attacked, and we would prefer that they be working instead on land forts, although some of these may or may not be building land forts. Well, they can do both. We should probably get at least a 3rd naval base. I'm going to build 4 in total. We're going to get these going. Okay, so that seems fine for the time being. We're working on getting supplies through here. The important thing at this moment is that we hold here. To that end, what do we want to do about this situation? We're currently losing this attack due to that medium tank template that they've got there. Tanks are a bit tough for this force to hold against at this exact moment. I'm thinking we move these Marines in temporarily and just cycle some of these around. We've got some space to move, and that is important. We just want these guys to let up on their attack fairly soon here. Now, we're being attacked heavily across all fronts here, which is not surprising. And we're going to continue to work on building these land forts. Now, I am going to come in here and delete these offensive orders. They do not need to exist. We just want to set this up. Although I do want to bring in a single unit of tank here, and we're going to move them in. It's going to take them some time to get here. We're just trying to build up our toehold right now, though. And I believe that we have it relatively under control at this point. So we're going to finish up a construction of naval base here. That's going to help our supply flow. That's a really good thing. We're going to finish up another naval base here soon enough in about 4 days. That's also going to help our supply flow. Getting the infantry here was extraordinarily important, right? No doubt about that. But supplies are still a little bit grim over here. We've only got a couple more days now until this is ready to go. We should probably work on infrastructure in this area as well. Let's get that going, but the naval bases are still the absolute priority over anything else. We're not constructing some of these down here, that's expected, but we have taken control of anti-air guns in this area. That's a very big deal. And we do have capacity for 400 airplanes here. That's not a lot of airplanes, but I do want to start working on the air base here. So let's get that ramped up to level 10. And this naval base is now finished up as well. So we have supplies flowing in at a significantly higher level than before. About 3 times the supplies that we had previously. This area is still tough. This is... okay, not that area. We have managed to finish a level of land fort here. Noted. They're attacking very heavily in this area, and we might want to consider moving these infantry in to help hold this. But we're just looking to consolidate at this moment. That is the only goal right now. We just want to hold this area until our tanks arrive. And in the meantime, in the background, of course, we are working on getting ourselves additional naval bases. We're being attacked heavily down here as well. That is noted. I want to get these railroads upgraded. That's going to be a relatively high priority as well. We're going to need a lot of supply flow through here. So that's looking good. This supply node over here. Yeah, this being motorized is good enough for now. Okay. So we're losing this defense down here for the moment. They've been attacking here very heavily as well. I'm going to move some reinforcements down. And keep in mind, we're building a lot behind this. We just need to hold this line. And that is indeed exactly what we're doing. We're seeing our supplies are in a much better position now. We have outdated equipment in production, the FD class. Oh, that's our civilian train. Okay, we should probably get our War Austerity train. Most likely. There's no upgrades for it. So we'll just get that going. Seems good. Okay, we have this armored division that can hop in here. And we do have a couple of research slots at this moment. We'll grab the TM312. Just get that out of the way. And we'll grab the maintenance company 3. Looks good. Do our tanks run maintenance companies? Just want to double check that. No, they're running logistics. Okay, noted. Are our infantry running logistics? They're not. Maybe we should change that. I think we should. Arguably, getting logistics into our infantry division is going to be fairly important here, because that's going to reduce their supply usage by 40%. It will reduce their organization, their piercing, it'll increase their weight a little bit, and increase their production cost, but broadly, I think that's probably a worthwhile trade. But we can't actually save that because another division exists. I just want to edit this. Okay. So I wanted to put in this logistics division, but it won't let us do that. Okay, I'll have to figure out why that's happening later. We do see that we're losing an attack here. They've brought in a lot of medium tank templates, and that is definitely part of the issue here. I'm going to move these Marines forward. And that is basically all we need to do, is shuffle some troops around, have troops recovering back here, and just let these naval bases flow in at this point. So this seems fine. We just move in units here, and they cannot attack here. Looks good. So at this point, we have these unassigned divisions. So we've got these 3 infantry divisions, but this guy goes here first, and then these go here. Looks perfect. Okay, so they're having a really hard time pressing into us here, right? No doubt about that, and that is, of course, because we built, in part, these land forts. It's going to get worse for them the further in they get, because we're going to get more and more fortified as that goes forward. So for now, this is looking pretty decent. We're going to get another upgrade up here of our naval base quite soon. A Field Hospital 2 finishes, and we're going to grab Field Hospital 3. Okay, so our construction is the most important thing right now. No doubt about that. We're going to have this naval base finishing soon. This attack down here has been constant. Where are our tanks? They should be getting kind of close. Actually, where are they? They're not actually on their way. Yep, they didn't actually get assigned to this. Get in here. Come on down. So the tanks are now on their way. Finally. I was under the impression they were on their way, but they were not. So we're now losing down here, and we do have a reinforcement unit heading in there right now. I'm going to move all of these Marines in, though, just to make sure. We want to hold this. This area is currently being heavily attacked. I'm going to move in these units of Marines to defend that. Okay. So we just need to hold this position, right? This naval base up here just finished. So that will give us additional supply flow into this area. That's great. We're making solid progress on our supply flow. It is definitely improving. And we're holding these defenses for now. The tanks are actually going to be on their way soon enough, and I want the tanks to likely do some sort of a offensive line, probably out to, like, these rivers. Something kind of like that. Although we're not going to tell them to start that just yet. So we do have this armored division here. That's going to go here. Looks good. Once we've got a little bit more of a toehold here, we're going to bring in, like, way more troops. Way more troops. But we still need to consolidate this position. We're not in the most perfect of situations right now. That's very, very obvious. This down here is currently losing, and we don't have a huge amount of troops to send there. I'm going to send these guys over, but they're going to take some time to get there. Like I said, this attack has been completely and totally constant. There's been no construction progress whatsoever down here, but they've not been attacking up here, which is allowing us to get additional supplies in, which is great. We're very, very pleased about that. So we're currently holding here. The outcome is undecided, and that's fine for the moment. We're going to be bringing in tanks soon enough, but it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to bring in our tanks and really start to push out here. The tanks are the ones who are going to be working offensively, and we're probably, once we do that, going to start withdrawing the Marines. It's likely time to withdraw the Marines, and we can get them started on like an invasion of Cuba and Spain and some of these areas out over this way. I do expect those to go down to just Marines fairly easily. And once we have a situation up here where we have these invasions complete, we can certainly use them to launch invasions in the north on Venezuela and relieve some pressure down over here if necessary. Brazil is going to be the primary threat here, and I have a feeling they'll fall fairly quickly once we get this toehold fully set up. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kintogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.